Good evening. It's the last day of 2020, or only the beginning of part of the Jewish year 5780. Yeah, I feel pretty good. The weather's not that bad. And like I always say, why do you need glasses when you have a bottle? You know, that might be a brown paper bag, but that's just for insulation because it's getting kind of chilly. I don't like my wine too chilled or it covers up funk. And just today I cashed a check from the manufacturer of the most awarded wine in America, more gold awards than anybody else, because I criticized one of their varietals, one of their products. I didn't take it back to the store. I called them up and told them that I know better than you and always will. What this video is really all about is about you children, you millennials, and what retard you are. Yeah, I know the lights was way too bright. It's gonna make, this right here on my forehead, that was actually damage from an assassin bug. It's only in the last few months. Nasty little bugs, just like the rest of most of you. When I was very, very young, I had the influence of great philosophers like Alan and Wilson Watts, not the Alan Watts you run into and a lot of other. I read a lot, actually. My entire life, I've always learned more in libraries, whether public or university libraries or whatever, than in classrooms. Classrooms are for people that are slow learners and retards and stuff like that. It's just not for me. It's, I'm going to probably be a little bit, and yes, I'm once again broadcasting from the bunker. Just try to get me here, motherfucker. Good luck. This thing you're going to need a fucking bunker buster bomb. Anyway, I remember as a very, very young man, because I've always been a man. My parents always treated me like an adult since the moment I was born because they could tell I was different than the rest of my siblings who were a tad slow, especially my oldest brother. Oh God, 3 years on the tit? Bill, come on, please. I was off in 6 months walking and talking. My memory begins at 6 months, my visual. So I'll get to the point. As a young man, something I've repeated a million times in my lifetime is that, now I'm forgetting. That's the beauty of wine and getting old. It's something to do with what you call Confucius and youth. All you millennial loser motherfuckers. Confucius said thousands of years ago, that reminds me, I ought to mention Ovid while I'm in here. Ovid. Confucius said thousands of years ago, I think it translates accurately as this: at 15, I became a student. At 30, I knew where to stand. Which means that if you're under 30, you don't know shit. You don't even know the right questions to ask. Now, I'm advanced. I'm highly advanced. I wrote my first book, which is on psychosexuality, human psychology, and human psychosexual evolution and stuff like that when I was age 28, married at 29. And the woman I married proved everything in that book to be true. I knew that the world would never accept that book. I self-published. I gave it to a few people, but I knew that. And then later, I found that one of the books that I cited in there, Farben Psychologie, copyright 1948 in Germany, it was disappeared by forces unknown to me, and its ISBN number reallocated to some book, unknown book. Anyway. When you're young, you suffer from this delusion, unlike me, that you think you know it all. No. When I was young, around adults, I kept my freaking mouth shut and listened. And didn't really become didn't start writing tomes or writing, until I was 28, 30. I really didn't start giving public lectures until I was in my late 30s. And that was on campus, etc. But my point is that young people suffer from this delusion that they know better than those of us who are empirically and chronologically advantaged. An old man like me, let me look at the camera. An old man like me who's traveled a lot, done stuff you'll never do, never can accomplish, never can get there, and has earned experiences that you'll never earn because they have to be earned. You can't buy them no matter how much, a lot of you people are planning on spending like $20 million to go to the moon base and back or something under Elon Musk. That doesn't mean that you did it. It means you just used your parents' money or your Silicon Valley money to get there. You're not conning anybody. I'm at a little over 8 minutes and 12 seconds. So the reason I decided to comment was because just a little while ago, YouTube put up a movie called Why Do We Fight? And started off with Texan Dwight David Eisenhower, which is a genuinely great man in history. I'm an Eisenhower economist and follow a lot of his principles. And he was not a warmonger. He was, as his own son says, he was not a military fanatic. Unlike George Patton, who was a complete fucking psychotic. And see, that sort of thing, this chronological advantage that we, as God commands, stand before white hair. You young people, you go off to some freaking Berkeley or Washington State, Evergreen College, where all the black people say you can't come on campus until we say it's okay. You people know nothing. As I was saying before, I've learned. I'm about to start on my Facebook page, which isn't even my real name. I'm about to start putting up my childhood heroes, which one of the first, other than my parents, was a guy named Charles Proteus. Steinmetz. You people who worship Nikola Tesla was just a vaudevillian. A few things, but it was just some variations on what Sir Michael Faraday, who never went to school for a day in his life. Yeah. Steinmetz was just this really devoted guy that did all the math and all the stuff, and he lived very frugally. Cheese bread was a complete delicacy and delight. I discovered at age 6 when I found a short biography of his life in the Carnegie Library, which is, actually, I kind of like Scottish people. I went to Cromont High School, and there's Cromont Scots in California. They were John Ralston, who actually founded the Bank of America, not A.P. Giannini, the Italian. And so, one of the things that Carnegie did when he became one of America's first billionaires, and billions of dollars in those days, which would be $1 trillion now, he funded free public libraries, which one of them was in my secondary hometown. In my entire life, I learned more from just grabbing every book in sight, watching people, didn't really ask questions. I just observed. And I've always learned more, like Goodwill Hunting, who's actually formally educated, just like his buddy Ben Affleck and stuff. I've always learned more in libraries and stuff like that than I ever have in any public cultural Marxist classroom dominated. Fuck that shit. My primary component here is that I want to just keep reminding you that you're young, you don't know shit. Who was the famous Greek? Was it Aristotle, who said, "If I know anything, all I know is that I know nothing"? And yet, every day in social media, there's a few days I take off. Almost every day in social media, I confront young people who, because of my profile, they don't know I'm very well traveled and very well educated. And they start trying to talk shit to somebody, to a guy who's read literally trillions of words more, has been trillions of miles more than they have been. And they try to start talking shit to me, which is all like Google search term talking. They just begin to regurgitate the shit that they found on Google, like they're an expert, when they have really nothing but a really low-grade public education. You really shouldn't do that with me. Don't try it with me. I will just embarrass you every time. That's one of the reasons I'm still in social media. I'm here to teach children that you don't know shit. I'm almost 14 minutes. Honestly, if you think that you're smarter than me, you might be in some little tiny area like fellatio, but in reality, you are my fire hydrant, and I'm the dog that's pissing on you. Or as we say in Texas, I'm hiking a leg on you. And you just keep throwing it out there. And the old timers and the people that have some education, they keep giving me, across the globe, they keep giving me thumbs up. And many people like Mr. Cole, who owns one of the biggest grocery store chains in Australia, people that don't comment, they just read. Please, children, keep on telling me I'm full of shit. Good luck with that. It's going to get you nowhere because you're a child. Intelligence is the accumulation of data. You can be born smart, but you cannot be born intelligent.